You wanna bring my sweater for me, my grey one? I don't know if it's gonna be cold. Oh, we're alive. It's 9 o'clock. And no one's looking. And I never know if I should just wait or if I should just start. Maybe I should just keep doing what I'm doing here. I was working on my hour by hour. Where's everybody? What's going on? Oh, look, someone's there. Who's there? Why can't I see? Why can I never see, dude?
Okay.
Swipe left.
That's the hard
swiping left and still not.
Somebody comments.
Well, there are 4 people there. I just can't see to say hi. Why can't I ever? Ah! Hi, Daniel. Hi. Oh, what is up with even like? Oh my gosh. Hi, Auntie Nikki. Oh my gosh. Hi, Auntie Marielle. Well, this is new. Yay, Auntie Marielle's there. And 2 more, and plenty more that I can't see. How can I not see? Oh, look, and I can see comments now. Hi, Crystal.
Don't ask why.
You're drinking all my water, dude. You're a bus. So, guys, apparently there's a way where I can join people in. Allow live requests. You'll be able to approve each request before viewers can join your broadcast. That is pretty cool. Maybe we should try that. Anybody want to? Joe, move. Get lost.
I'm homeschooling.
Auntie Nikki, you want to like try this? Do you want to try? Did somebody want to try? Say yes. Apparently there's a way, guys, where Jessie Lee.
I'm going to homeschool my child.
Get lost. Go homeschool in your room.
Ugh.
Thank you. Apparently there's a way, guys, where I can actually like invite people to join my live. Yeah, I know you told me this. Okay, so do you want to try then? Because I haven't tried it. So somebody needs to try it with me. So I'm going to, you know what? Seeing that you want to be, tell me. Okay, so I'm going to, how do I do it though? So we're going to, Auntie Nikki, if you get this, invite to broadcast. I'm going to invite you, and all you have to say is hi, and then everybody's going to say, you know, are you guys seeing Auntie Nikki? And we're going to try this. Because we could have, oh, Auntie Nikki. I don't know why. So what you guys are seeing? Are you guys seeing? Is that me you're seeing? Oh, that's now.
That's our stuff.
That's our stuff. Oh, yeah. So then why did my camera flip? Because then now it's kind of like
Did you touch that?
blank on that.
Did you touch anything on that?
No, I didn't. I'm just inviting people. I wanted to try something. Oh, now it's back here. Auntie Nikki, I invited you. Did you like take my invite? That might not be nice. I didn't give her permission. I didn't like give her warning. Next thing she naked too. All right, we could try this after. Auntie Nikki, go clean up and whatever.
That might be
Hi, Natasha. Does anybody want to try like linking with me? You've invited her, but I have no idea. Oh.
Hi, everybody.
Oh my God, this is so cool. This is so cool. Had I like tried this out before?
Alright, so bye, everybody. Hi, Jess. Hi, Selena.
Hello.
We're
Bye now.
Bye. Thank you.
How do I get it off? How do I get it off?
I think there's a way to exit. I've exited. Don't worry. I've exited. Oh my God, that is so cool because there's like someone that I want you guys to do a live in.
Yeah.
But they were in Arima, so we had booked it for Sunday instead of Wednesday because Wednesday at 9 o'clock for me to drive to Arima. This is so cool, guys. Oh my goodness.
Invite somebody else.
No, we're not inviting somebody else. Who we could invite is Yana. I wonder if they're normally here by now. All right, well, if some of the girls from You Are Not Alone signs in, I can invite them. But guys, this is actually cool because this is a topic where like a lot of interaction will be good. So we're talking about postpartum depression, mental illness. Not sure. I thought you were gonna get me sweater for me. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's in. Where is it? It's in my room, isn't it? Oh, it's right there. It's in my room. Oh. Kind of cold. Sorry, because my child has the place like a freezer. Great. Anyways, so. Oh my goodness. Oh, look right here. Come, quick.
How lame are you?
Right there.
How lame are you?
Well, we know I'm lame. Right. Now let's get rid of this so I could see comments. Good night, guys. Hi, Robert. Yes, so did you get it? Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. Right. So this month is mental health awareness, and unfortunately, it's a little bit tricky because what happens is during mental health awareness month, suicides and stuff tend to go up. So guys, if you have friends and family members that tend to, you know, go into depressions and stuff like that, this is a time where we do need to be extra vigilant, understanding that a lot of the same conversations that we do need to have, unfortunately, also triggers things. There's a lot of company that, you know, they get a lot of enabling and stuff. And so it can become, Jessie, all the humming and stuff is really distracting. Please go in your room and do the homeschooling. Thank you then. Right. So it's a tricky time because we do need to raise awareness, but yes, I know, I'm sorry, Auntie Nikki, I should have warned you, I'm sorry. I just realized that I could do it. Right. So last year, before my bout of illness, which included mental illness, I did not understand mental illness. And I think that I fell into the judgmental category. A lot of older people in particular tend to go, you know, a million other women had children, just suck it up. You know, if we can't breastfeed, a million other women did it. I did it so easily. And a lot of, I mean, I've spoken about competition already, right? It's like, well, this one's doing this, and why can't I do it? And how come she's getting through with it, and I can't get through with it? And that really puts us into our own little depression because, and we're not speaking, you know, like bipolar depression where your hormones are out of whack. We're not speaking, because there are different types of it, right? But we can get into this blame game where we are feeling sorry for ourselves. We are comparing ourselves with other people. And when one thing that had jumped out at me last year when You Are Not Alone and CARE came together, and we did a stand in solidarity with people with mental illness, and what we wanted to do was to tell our own stories, because a lot of times people have these weird ideas that we live these kind of perfect lives, you know, which is why I try to put sometimes my struggles with Jess online and stuff, so that, you know, Facebook is a place where people like to put a lot of positives and stuff, and I'm all for focusing on positives. Like, I am definitely not one for harping on negatives, but at the same time, what happens is that people can be looking on and they're seeing all the positives, not understanding that you are going through struggles as well, and they judge their lives as crappy because why can't I have this perfect life like she does? And a lot of the stories that had come out when the moms were talking about, you know, how they got into it, a lot of them, when you started to look at it, was they were feeling inadequate. You know, many of the mothers spoke about, I wasn't able to breastfeed, and if I was just able to breastfeed, maybe my child would not have gotten sick, or if I had just been a little bit stronger, maybe this didn't happen. And there's so much blame that moms put on themselves, and then everyone else is around them, and, you know, obviously they're doing it in a loving manner because, yes, breastfeeding, all the research says it's great. It's better for you to breastfeed. It's better for your children, you know, so fine. So we all want to. You know, we all want to. I remember I cried when, I'd given it a good spell. Did I understand? I didn't know about Breastfeeding Association until after my milk dried up, you know, before my goal and whatnot. And these are the things where a lot of, we have to talk about, you know, are we coming from a place of judgment, like, well, everybody have milk, so just breastfeed? Or are you coming from a place of help, and are you coming from a place of advice where, like, you're not judging, you're genuinely loving, and you can then say, hey, do you know about Breastfeeding Association? Because this can help. Let's go to them maybe before, if it's something that you think you're really passionate about, because that's something that I got out of, a lot of moms told these stories, and I have it on video, and a lot of times I look at it, and that is something that moms blamed themselves. They just felt so inadequate. So if you know breastfeeding is something that's really, really important to you, then go to Breastfeeding Association prior to. Even if your mother was a cow and was pelting out milk, that's even worse. Because the worst thing is when everybody else around you could pump milk and squirt all over the place, and you can't. So whether you think you may have a problem, you may not have a problem, we have this mentality where needing advice and needing help means that you're not adequate. Like, guys, I keep saying to you, the best athletes in the world train more. They have the best coaches in the world. The most talented athletes understand the need for help. And we need to stop thinking that we are like stronger than the best athletes in the world. The presidents, you know, the best presidents in the world all have a great advisory team. And that is really the only place where we're inadequate. We're not asking for help enough. So if breastfeeding is important to you and that's part of your plan in parenting, then go to Breastfeeding Association. It's free of charge, and find out the best practices that can help you be able to breastfeed. You know, let's ask for help. Some people need sleep. Some people are not able to do the 2-hour thing. And you know what? We need to stop judging. And I'm going to keep saying that all the time, right? Because I know a million other mothers did it before and they sucked it up and they were able to just get up every 2 hours. Because if you're breastfeeding, guess what? You're going to be getting up every 2 hours. Because this thing about kids sleeping through the night, if you go to my website and again, you look at the first season, authorities, people who are not like me, who just learning on the go, these are people who are authorities in their, you know, they're professionals in their fields, and they'll tell you children shouldn't be sleeping through the night because their tummies are this tiny. You know, they'd shown, you know, it's like a little golf ball. So how the hell are they holding enough food in it to be able to sleep through the night? So guess what? We need to put things in place. You need to have a conversation with your husband, have a conversation with your grandmothers, have a conversation with your best friend. If it is a situation where you can afford help, then afford help. And to hell with everybody. Like, you know what? Sometimes even Christians need to learn to do this. I keep telling you all that. Or y'all could say, thank you, and ignore. If you don't want to be all bold-faced like me, you can go, thank you for your help, and ignore. Like, we need to learn to ignore. Because if it is that you are not someone who can function on 20 minutes sleep every 2 hours, then you need to set up a system. So you need to figure out whether it is that you're pumping and you're putting the milk away, and then you're gonna have 4 hours sleep. So I'm gonna do 4 hours sleep while you do the next 2 feeds or whatever. So these are the things where we need to sit and we need to plan, because guaranteed, guys, these things wear us down, and we need to face them head on and stop thinking that, well, because everybody's mother did it and my mother did it and this one doing it and she handling it by herself, I could handle it, and if I can't handle it, something wrong with me. And that is where depression and postpartum depression starts to creep in, because we are human and there are some people who can handle it, and good for them. Like, good for them if they can handle it, because you know what, there are things that I may not be able to handle that somebody else can handle. And if that's one of the things that I can't handle, then boo-hoo, then that's okay. Like, it is really okay. And we need to get to the point, guys, where we're not a judgmental society, where we don't watch women suffering and being like, well, she real weak boy. I had 10 children and I ain't had no help. Okay, well, good for you. First, to begin, you probably don't have as much sense as I have financial management if you're having all of that. And so, I mean, they're different things. People have their different challenges, okay? And we need to be okay with it. And we need to be okay with getting help. Because, guys, exhaustion is a real cause. It brings on, you know, that depression. It brings on those thoughts. So that's real. My story. Let's talk about thyroid. If you read my column today, I spoke about, I had done a poem. I don't know if it's a poem, it's a piece or whatever you want to call it. Last year, when, as I had said, I was one of those judgmental people, right? Because I grew up real rough and tough. And I've been told all my life to just suck it up. I remember when I was pregnant, I mean, I was sick all 9 months, and I went, at one point in time, I literally went, I cannot do this anymore. And I had tears in my eyes. I was done vomiting. I was so exhausted. And I mean, my career was still like booming. So here I am, no longer able to get to work for 4:30 a.m. And I show up at 7 a.m. and I'm like getting buffed. Like, there's the hour you come into work? Because of course, everybody's accustomed to me like being there for 20 hours. And I'm there like walking slow, and I'm now fat, and I can't be like, yo, come and do this, come and do that, come and do that. So I'm now just like half of what I used to be. And I put my hand, and I cried, and I said, I can't do this anymore. And the person that I said it to said, what do you mean you can't do it anymore? And listen, women have babies every day. You'll be fine. But I mean, it's always been, I've grown up very like, you just need to suck it up and get on with it. So I've learned that you just need to suck it up and get on with it. And I feel that if I give tough love to everybody else, then they could suck it up and get on with it. And last year, my thyroid stopped functioning. In fact, it was over functioning. Before the pains came, anxiety attacks came, and random crying. Now, let me tell you, this is somebody who, like, I've been in the middle of a burning building, like I remember, don't know if y'all remember, the Trinity Industrial Estate, like, all up in flames. I was one of them warehouses, and Marsha was like all cool and calm, called the chairman, did the stock count, did the backup, handle all the employees, handle all the phone calls, like real champion business. Because I mean, I've been, my dad's saved the day when grocery being robbed during the coup. Our house was like soldiers running through, guns, I've been in enough stuff to like, things don't faze me. So here it is, well into your 30s, and like, starting to cry and panic attack, and like, what the hell is going on? And you know what? Nobody was taking me on. I get called drama queen, and we like to do that. We like to go, well, she must be a drama queen because she's crying for no reason and all kind of stuff. And nobody anywhere around me thought that this has to be some kind of mental illness. Because mental illness in Trinidad and Tobago, as far as we're concerned, does not exist. It is reserved for the weak, for the, I don't know what we like to say about it, but it is real. And because I used to pray to God for empathy, obviously he had to not just give it to me. I had to earn it through a trial, and that was my thyroid. And my thyroid controlled my hormones, which meant that there was something inside my body that had nothing to do with my strength of character, that was simply unable to help me deal and cope with things that I would have easily coped with, right? So that's your first thing. Like, you need to understand your makeup, your particular makeup. Because if something's not necessarily functioning properly, then you're gonna have to understand that this is nothing about your strength of character, and this is just shit ain't working inside, plain and simple. So I have to understand, if I got pregnant tomorrow and the doctor said to me, you see them thyroid meds that you're taking, not good for your child, I have to be aware, and those around me have to be aware, that there's a very good chance that my hormones will go to shit. And guess what that does? It puts me in a very at-risk area for postpartum depression. If you are bipolar and the meds that work for you are not recommended that you take while you're pregnant, guess what? Those around you need to stop with the suck it up behavior. Just breastfeed, just get up, just do what you have to do, strength of character, and understand that there's something bigger going on inside that you have no control over. So these are some of the things that you need to really understand. You need to understand, do you have a genetic history? Is there like history of postpartum depression? And this is where you may need to quietly do some because you know, back in the generations, them was all depressed and they all had mental illness, but they just didn't diagnose it. And they went happily, merrily among their way, suffering in silence, sleeping all day. And you know, when you're sleeping all day, that might be a sign, guys. Like, and we don't, we didn't diagnose these things before. We didn't take them on before. We came up with all these random things because how dare us stand up and say, I'm depressed. Like, we can't say that now, can we, in public? So you need to sit and really be honest and think, was my mother, think back and talk to a professional and say, do you think maybe we did have a history of depression that we just didn't know about, and I may be the first? We gotta ask ourselves these hard questions, because you see this suffering and silence business, that was lead to the suicide. Like, that is what leads to the suicide, guys. And that's so it comes in, when you can ask yourself the questions when you're at a place where you're still fairly cognizant of what's going on, you need to be really open and honest with, maybe I am depressed. And it doesn't mean that you have something to be depressed about, because again, when there were stories of real postpartum depression going on, again, people are feeling guilty because they have the best husband in the world, the best mother-in-law in the world, and everything is going great. Yet, I have these random feelings of throwing my son out the window. As a mother, I have got to say that must be really difficult. Can you imagine? So how do you think couples should deal with this? By conversation, right? I'm going to answer it just now. Let me finish this point first, right? So you have, and Ronell, what you need to do is get my column, or because I have it written down on my website as well, and the topic is called How I Need You to Know. What are the things that I need you to know, right? So imagine a mother sitting down, and she knows, because we know what we're supposed to be feeling. We are supposed to be thoroughly enjoying the birth of our child. Like, we're supposed to look at our kid and be like, I am so blessed. God, thank you very much. Like, you know, and the husband is there, and both of y'all just, and men get postpartum depression as well, which, you know what, I feel must be even worse, because we have this whole macho business. So can you imagine, again, this man is sitting down and again, feeling depressed? The kind of drama and judgment that must go on is crazy. But you've got to, this is where we need to have the conversation, right? And this is where we need to break the stigma. And you need, a man needs to go to his wife, and a wife needs to go to her husband and say, babe, if ever you are feeling these feelings, it's okay. I am here for you. And these are where our words need to be kind to each other long before the feelings come. Because when the feelings come, and I know that my husband is one judgmental jackass, then I'm not going to say, babe, I have thoughts of throwing the son overboard. I'm not going to do that, because then my mother-in-law and my mother and everybody gonna be like, well, what do you ask wrong with she? So if that's the way that we talk to each other on a regular basis, then if, God forbid, I feel that way, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to keep it to myself, because I know that it's not going to be met with care and concern. I know that they ain't really genuinely understanding the way that I'm feeling. And so we need to have these conversations, and we need to be real, and we need to put it out there that if that's what you're feeling, then that's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you're feeling to kill your son. It's okay. Come and tell me. We're going to work on it together. That's the mentality that we have to have. If our teenagers come and our teenagers say, Mom, I'm feeling it today, you know. It's not a suck it up attitude. We need to say, it's okay. It's okay if you're feeling strong today. How can I help you? That's the way that we need to start to deal with things. And you know what we need to do? Is you see how I come in to tell Ollie I had a thyroid issue and that I was crying for no apparent reason. And the truth is, if I get pregnant and my doctor say to me that them thyroid meds can't be taken, this might happen, there's no shame in it. And we need to stop being shameful. And everybody have depression issues, who have bipolar, and who have everything, need to stop hiding and stand up proud and be like, I have this. And I'm not ashamed of it. Because there's strength in numbers as well, guys. And so when, you know, could you imagine if Nicki Minaj come out and be like, I suffer with depression? Then it will not, we don't want it to become popular where people just get depression to be like Nicki Minaj, obviously. But it becomes a little bit easier when you realize, wait, I'm not just weak and hopeless and clueless and don't have my life together. That this is a real thing that the greatest of us face. And so this is why conversation is really, really, really important. So you need to first determine, and mental illness, I want to touch on some of mental illness, but it is a lot of postpartum depression, right? But we need to ask ourselves, are we at risk? Do we fall into the high risk category? So is there a history of mental illness within ourselves, with our family tree? We need to start to look at those things. And it may not be a history of postpartum depression, but there may be some history of mental illness. And we need to really look into those things, right? So that's one. What's the time? Oh, geez, Louise, this 30 minutes is like fly, right? We need to look at what is going on around us. The truth is that sometimes, everything happens all at the same time. When it rains, it pours. We hear about that, right? So can you imagine that you are, you've just given birth. Your husband comes home and says, I've lost my job. And your dad's in the hospital at the very same time. Like, at the end of the day, you need to be realistic. We all have limits. And me being brand new pregnant, and I was planning to be a stay-at-home mom, but my husband come and tell me that he lose his job, and my father in the hospital fighting for his life. This is a real scenario that can possibly happen. And so the best of us, we have a limit. And so we need to, again, not have the suck it up attitude. And we need to be able to say, you're going through a lot. Yeah. And this is where the village raising a kid comes in. And this is a word to the village, because it's something the village like to do. If you want help, you need to take help on my terms, right? And that's not cool. Like, it's real not cool. It's not cool that you come in and telling me how to raise my child. And if you want help, then you better deal with it my way. That's not how we just help. If you want to help, then you're gonna follow my rules, because it's my pregnancy and it's my child, and my husband and I have a plan, and we've had a discussion, and this is what I want. So don't be going and feeding my child cereal because you want him to sleep longer, because you think I need to sleep longer, or some garbage. Like, don't do that. You need to respect what I want. You need to respect, this is how I need help. And that's another thing. You know what people like to do to offer to help is hold your child and not mop. Sometimes what we need is for you to come and cook food and mop, so that we can breastfeed in peace and not have to worry that when they're sleeping for 2 hours, we had to get up and go and cook and clean. Because that was real. People used to tell me, here's some advice: when they sleep, you sleep. Buddy, when they're sleeping, I remember trying to take, like, as fast as I can to shower, to cook, to mop, to get the house in order. Like, that's what it was. And then by the time it's done, you get 20 minutes sleep before she wake up again, and you're breastfeeding, and then you did it all over again. Because nobody want to come and help you cook and clean. What they want to come and help you do is hold your child and play with your child. That's not what you want. That's not what you need. And so that's another thing to the village. Come and give me what I need, not what you want. Yeah? Right. Guys, I have written some of it down on my website. If you haven't gotten The Guardian today, the blog is there on my website. So go and check it out. We did talk about postpartum depression and stuff in season 1. We will talk about it again in season 2, because there is so much to talk about with it. Our time is up. I want to be able to, 30 minutes is done already, would you believe it? I want to be able to just answer any questions that I have. So Rhonda, I think I've dealt with how do couples handle it. Right. So that is something that's very important. Someone always has to be there with her and her baby. Yes, I've said that today as well. Like, again, you have to be in the article. You have to be really realistic, right? And you need to understand at what stage this person is at. Postpartum depression does not actually cause suicide. That is if it morphs into postpartum psychosis. And so that's where you need to really be in tune. You need to, again, not be judging, but be listening, constantly be paying attention. And sometimes you need to indulge the person. So you need to ask things like, how are you feeling today? Do you want to kill yourself? Like, I mean, how would you do it? If you ask someone, like, how would you do it? And they have thought about what they're going to do, then guys, you need to take this seriously. And you need to start to, you know how you baby-proof your home? Then you need to suicide-proof your home. You need to move all the sharp objects. You need to remove all the bells, remove all the cords, you know, watch the windows. Guys, it takes 2 seconds. And if, like, when you talk to clinical psychologists and stuff, if you were to scan someone's brain in the minutes leading up to their suicide, it is not their normal brain. Their brain looks totally different. Can you imagine what you would feel like if 1,000 bees were stinging you? So imagine if their brain has reached to that point and that's what they're feeling. If 1,000 bees were stinging me, I'd jump out a window. If there was a window open and there was no one to stop me from jumping, I would jump. And if we understand the psychology and the biology and the physiology and all the ologies of how the brain is operating and what they are seeing, like, they're not seeing what you are seeing. So you've got to really be there and really be monitoring and really be lovingly, gently asking the questions, sneaking things away from them, being around them. I mean, nobody wants to feel like they're being watched, but they do want to feel like they're being, you know, loved and affection. So maybe let's just sit and watch a movie today. You know, in a way, be around them all the time and stuff like that. So we do need to understand where they are at in the cycle of things. There are meds that are safe to take. So have a conversation with your pharmacist. Do a lot of research if you can do the research before. So if you suffer with bipolar, if you suffer with mental illness beforehand, do the research. Because then if you are someone who has, like for me, again, I have a thyroid issue. So I may want to start to do my research and see long before I even start to consider having a kid again. Are the meds that I'm on something that's friendly to children, to babies? Because if it's not, then maybe I can say to my doctor, can we start to try something that's friendly? Because I want to get pregnant next year. And if I want to get pregnant next year, then I think that we should start to experiment on meds that are safe for me to use while pregnant and while breastfeeding. So these are some of the things that we really do need to plan for. But again, to be able to plan for it, we must be willing to admit that mental illness is real, that mental illness is something that is possible, that postpartum depression has nothing to do with my strength of character. And so no matter how strong I am, it can very well happen. Let's have a discussion about it. So some people are saying that, the best thing is, that somebody went on a vacation, and we tend to feel guilty. Like if, not some of us don't. Like, okay, I genuinely don't feel like I need a vacation from my child. I have never really felt that way. But if you feel that way, if you feel that way, Jessie said once in my life, I felt that way.
When you were working and you left me in here and I was crying.
Oh, no, that's not a vacation. I left you because I went to work. Right.
Still.
Oh, okay, my love. Okay, yes. So there are some people who do feel the need to, I have to go and have a drink on a Friday night with my girls. Again, there are people who are going to be mean. There are people who are going to say the wrong things, like, why do you feel like you need that? It's okay. If that's what you need, then, guilt, boy, mummies, I don't know. We had to do a whole topic on guilt, and I don't know how, I have no idea how to help moms not feel guilty. But guys, it is way past our time. Please like and share, please like and share, please like and share. A lot of people are saying that this is great information, and the only way that we can continue to pass on the great information is to share. Share it in all the mummy groups, share it in all the daddy groups, share it on everything, share it on WhatsApp, whatever, I don't know. Go across the YouTube. What I'm going to try to do is start to take these lives and break them up into 2-minute, 3-minute videos of little clips where, they make things easier, so that maybe once a day, you could just listen to 3 minutes to one little clip. So like and share, like and share, like and share. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Bye. Well, hurry up and say bye. Quick. Quick, because we're over time.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
I'm supposed to finish.
Okay, cool.
Bye-bye.
You pressed it?